Hello everyone, I'm Hilary Chin. Thank you all so much for coming and watching my YouTube channel. Today I want to show you how to append your query or append your data. Okay, I know most of you are hearing this for the first time, but of course to append your data you simply need to enter into Power Query. When you look at the Excel software, it has something behind. There's another page behind, I call it page, okay, that opens up each time you want to really go deep to analyze your data and perform some very critical functions, okay, like appending query, like merging your query, okay. And this option is called Power Query. Now to append your data, just take for instance, if you are analyzing data, which is something that we do daily, and that is something that is common when you work with international organizations and any industry, you would see that you need to be bringing in data every month. For instance, if you work with a supermarket, okay, January, they need to bring in a particular data, maybe data of sales. And that data, you clean it, analyze it, and it gives you, maybe it says the profit for that month is 5,000, for instance. Now, in February, they need to bring that same data again from that same shop or that same supermarket. When you bring that data in, you will need to append that data. You will need to join it. So append simply means, for instance, this is a data, and then this is another data, the January data. You bring the February data and then you paste it under here. You bring the March data and then you paste it under here. That is how you append, okay? You simply put the data all in one row and with that flow. This is because by the end of the year, you will need to start finding out from the company or for the company. They will need to start asking you, can you compare to us the trend in terms of profit from January, February, March? So if you have appended your query very well, you will just have that flow, maybe using a line chart, and it's going to be so beautiful and clear. Okay, this is important. Or if you're analyzing data with NGOs or UN agencies, this is how or what they are going to be expecting from you. That is why this skill is very important. So pay attention and see what I do with the data. Let's jump in so I show you what I mean.
Okay guys, so to append your data, there are some rules that are very important to follow, okay? And here, before we continue, I want you to see that I have put my data in this data folder, okay? So I have all my three data. Let me show you them. I have sheet A, where you have organization name, organization type, activities, boys, girls, adult male, adult female, okay? I have all this in sheet A, and then I also have this in sheet B, organization B, and then organization type is international. You have activities, you have boys, girls, adult male, adult female, okay? And then you have another sheet now, organization C, where you have national organization, the activities, boys, girls, adult female, okay? So the rule of thumb here that you must follow is that every sheet must have the same format. For instance, if you look at all the sheets I've shown you, they start from A, column A, right up to column G. It means that these are the same. This is one tool that you have designed and shared to different organizations, and they are sending their data in that same sheet or in that same tool, okay? Because to append, you will need, or consolidate your data, you will need to have all the sheets having one format, because you want to put them together, okay? We want for instance, if I go to sheet A, what we are trying to do is we want all the data for sheet B to come under here, and then followed by all the data for sheet C. You see, so we want to append, we want them to come under here so that we can analyze it now as one data. That's what we are trying to do. Now another rule that you must follow is that you see here that we have a totally different sheet, different Excel sheet already opened, okay? And as we saw, all this data, they are in one folder, okay? So while we have our Excel workbook here open, all we need to do is come to data here, and we go to the data tab, and once we click on the data tab, we'll come to get data and we click. And remember that we'll go to file and then come here, we say from folder, you see, and then we say okay. Now once we click, it will go to my desktop and then pick all folders, and then I'll select the folder that has all the data. Okay, so if I come to desktop and I click, so here we have data. This is where the data is. I'll click, and then I click open. Then it opens up. So you say please wait. So it is opening up. You see, these are all my data here. I have the A, B, C data. So here you see different options. So you have combine, load, transform data, and etc. Because I'm dealing with more than one data, I will now say combine and transform, and I'll click this option. And then once I click this option, it brings me now into the Power Query. So you can see the Power Query booting, and here we will take our time to examine the data, clean the data properly. Okay, and amazingly here it says sample file. So first file is file A. So if I come up here, I'll see all my files. You see, file A, B, C. So I want to start with file A. I'll select file A, and then once I select file A, I'll select the data itself, and then we can preview the data from here. You see, we can preview it from here to see how it looks. The next thing I'll do here, I'll come here and I select it, put this on skip files with errors. So there are some minor errors that we don't want to, we want this file to overlook. Okay, make sure you click this on and then you click OK. There's a reason why Excel gives that option, because Excel knows that within the data there might be some code issues, etc. at the back that we want to overlook, especially when we have already met the criteria I showed you when we started this course or this lesson. Okay, like every row must be equal, etc. So now we have it here. I'll just click refresh to refresh my data. It's a good practice to always refresh your data. So right here you see that it brings my data into my Power Query. So right now I'm into Power Query. So this is the data, and it gives me other queries one, and it gives me different parameters concerning this query. I don't want us to go into all this. I just wanted to come to, you see, when we click our data here, it brings a query on, and then here you see the different operation that has taken place while we're bringing this data in. Okay, these are the different activities that took place. And then here now you see here everything is set. This source name, I might just want to delete it. I'll just right click here and then I remove. Anyway, I just want to keep that source name. Let me keep that source name. Okay, and then all I'll do here, my data is fine, it's very okay, I don't have any issues. The columns are good, the rows are good, and then everything is set. So now what I'll do here, I'll simply come to close and load, and I select that option, and then I load it into my Excel. Okay, so I'm loading it into my Excel, guys. You see, this is it here. So I have it here. So I can come and double click and I just put A and I name it as A here. You see, this is it here. So this is the data. We are just coming from the Power Query, and the Power Query is still, and our Excel system is still giving us an update of the data. Okay, the file, giving us the connectivity and giving us, telling us what is happening, how many rows we have. Is giving us here, it says 5 rows. So you can still come from here and then look at, you see, it shows you all the columns. These are the columns that we have in that data. So it shows us here to make sure and show you whether it is okay. So loaded to worksheet, and then also data source is still loading. Okay, so everything is here. You can still come in and review. This area is very important because when we bring the next data, we'll come and check to see whether they are all equal. Okay, it says 8 columns, so it's giving us a statistics again still. So while I have done this, I'll just click that off. I go again to data, right? I come again to get data, and then I go again to my file, and then I go to folder again and I click. So I want to bring the next file in, and I go again to my desktop. Very quick, go again to my desktop and I click, and then I'll still see data. Well, it was there anyway, so I click again. I still bring all the files again in, and then of course I'll still click combine and load, and then I bring the next data in. Okay, I bring the next data in. We'll be bringing now table B. You see, I'll click here, come now to B, and then it changes down here. I preview again, see how it looks, and I click OK. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to click that option that says it should overlook any mistakes in the query. But let's see how it will work since we did not click that on. Let's see what will happen since we did not click that on, and see another way that the data will look. So you see, here we are. So there's an error, right? There's an error here, you can see it. So what I'll simply do here now, I'll simply go back to my data and I'll just click this X here, delete this format. I'll just delete it, okay? Remove the entire space, and then I come back now to my data, go to get data again, and then come to files, from files, come to folder, and I click. You see the effect, you see the effect clearly, because we did not select that option that says it should overlook some issues into the data. So here now I'll just click combine and transform. Combine and transform, it brings us here now again. So while we are here now, we make sure we click this on, skip with errors, and then we come here again, choose 5B. You see, this is our 5B, and then we select it to see and preview to see how it looks, and then we come now, we click OK. Now it is going to load very, very simply without any obstruction. So now it's going to load now without any obstruction. So that's where we are. Just be patient, guys. When you work with these tools, you have to be very patient and allow them do their work. So the tool that is how Power Query work, you see. So now we have our data in here, so we don't have any issue here. Okay, we don't have any issue here. So now what I'll do here is I'll come now to close and load. Okay, so we'll come again and put the last data. You see, it comes again to another sheet. I'll double click here and put B, capital B, right? Sorry, capital B. You see, so we have sheet A here, the previous data we brought in. Now we have sheet B. This is the current data we have brought in, right? And then it has the same, it gives you the same feedback. You see, you can come here, check your name of columns, how many columns and all that, rows, etc. So we are going again to our Excel, go again to data, and then we go to get data, go to files, and then come now to transform from folder. Sorry, now we click our data folder, click open, and then it opens up. Now we'll bring the third data in. This is very important. Here now we're going to click combine and load data. So now we're going to bring that in here, and then remember to click the option that says overlook some of these little errors in the data, especially after you have met some criteria, like every column must be the same, etc. So we come here now, we choose C, data C, and then we select, you see, and then we come here and say skip file with errors, and then we click. So there's a reason Excel actually brought that option there, because Excel knew that there will be this kind of challenges. There will be some errors that are not really your fault, okay, maybe from the system. So that option was kept there to be able to overlook and overwrite those issues while our data comes in safely and accurately. So here now you see that we have, I'll just refresh, you see that we have all our data here now. Okay, so if you look at this side here, the more I bring data, the more this other area populates. So this first here is giving me information of the first data, the second one is giving me information of the second data, the third one is giving me information of the third data. So all of them are here. Okay, so all of them are here. But one thing I want to let you know here now is I'm going to come here now, right, and I go to merge query and append query. So I'm going to choose append queries, and I click and I choose append queries. I want to append it as new, so I want to create a new file in my Excel sheet. Okay, I'll click append. The moment I click append, we open up another dialog box like this. So I want to append 3 or more tables. So we have 3 tables, right? So I'll click here. Once I click here, I already have one that says data 3. This is what the first one said, data 3, and then we have just data, and then we have data 2, right? So I'll come here now, data 3, I'll double click, and then it brings me data, and I double click and it brings me data 2. So these are the 3 data we have. The first one is data, second one is data 2, the third one is data 3. So we have data 2, data 3, and data. These are the names that the system automatically rename the data, okay? But just make sure that you are bringing all 3 unique tables. Make sure that they are not the same tables that you have brought, but different. All the 3 tables are involved. If there were 4, make sure all of them are there. If there were 2, make sure all of them are there, and then you click OK. Once you click OK, it now brings you this data, you see. So now we have our data B. So we have data B, we have data A, we have data C. Everything has been brought now in one table. You see, this is how you can append your data. So this is real deal when we talk about data analysis or data scientists, okay? This is real deal. So in your Power Query now, you see that this different data has been organized. You can see check again. You can see decide to move some columns, or we can come here to move the data source. Maybe we might want to remove it, or like to click here, remove the data source. Okay, so this Power Query, there's a whole lot that you can do here, just a whole lot. I don't want us to go into Power Query here. We'll be doing Power Query on its own, but today I just wanted us to show you how to append data, okay, to put data all in one. So once we have done this, we just go here to close and load. That's all. Now it will bring the appended data now in another sheet, okay? You see, in another sheet. So this is the data that we had. The last data we had for C. I'll just double click and write C, right? And then this is the data that it has appended now. All of them now are in one space. Okay, so I can start analyzing from here. Maybe I can put my pivot tables, right? And I start analyzing from here. If you have not watched our pivot tables, please go by the end of this video. You are going to see pivot tables there. So this is how we can append all our data and put them in one. Okay, so in the next video I'm going to show you other things. For now, let's end this here and stay blessed.